Graham G. Matt, that's your BleacherReport.com. WWE 2K23 coming up March 17th, available everywhere. Today we're talking two of the stars in the John Cena showcase mode. AJ Styles, Kurt Angle, two people that played a pivotal role in the career of John Cena. AJ, Kurt, thanks for taking the time, guys. What's going on?
What's up, buddy?
Nothing much. Glad to be on, man.
Awesome. Fantastic. Well, it's a real privilege and an honor to be talking to you guys today. Like I said, in this game, not only are people going to be able to play the biggest matches of John Cena's career, they're not playing as John Cena, as many people know. They're playing as you guys. They're playing as you, Kurt. They're playing as you, AJ, as they literally, AJ, beat up John Cena. I feel like we've come full circle here.
Well, my only hope is that they actually put in that whole phrase, beat up John Cena. I don't know if they will, or if they did, but man, it'd be cool.
It would be quite ironic given the status of this game. But listen, we're going to be playing through these matches, starting with you, Kurt. You're one of the first few matches on the game. That's John Cena's first match ever in WWE is against you. Talk about how cool it is to be back, first of all, in the 2K series. We obviously didn't see you last year. We spoke about this when I saw you last year, how much you missed being in the game. You're back in the 2K family and being a big part of the showcase mode for 2K23.
Yeah, I'm proud and honored to be a part of it. And, you know, I wrestled John Cena a lot in my career. I was his first match when he started, and we had an incredible match, and I knew this kid had an incredible future. And I'm just really happy and excited to be a part of this game and be the one that can actually beat John Cena. Not a lot of people have done that. And usually you don't get the best of John. Usually John, if you wrestle him 3 times, he's going to beat you 2 out of 3.
You've had a long-standing history with John over the course of your career, his career. Like I said, in one of the first few matches on this game, we're playing through that debut match of Cena against you on SmackDown, which was over 20 years ago at this point, which is crazy to think about. With that being said, I'm sure you've talked about it before. Do you have a favorite match that you've had with John, whether it be the first one, the series in 2005, fighting in 2003? You guys have had so many matches. Does one in particular stand out among the rest?
You know what? All of them were great, but the ones that really stuck out for me were the ones in 2005. And actually, John got the better of me in those. But he was a much better wrestler at that particular time. He started to mature and get a lot better, and we ended up having some amazing matches. And I'd say 2005 was our best years.
What about you, AJ? I mean, you've had so many matches with John as well, specifically on the premium live events, starting with Money in the Bank, SummerSlam. I was at that one at the Barclays Center, one of the best matches I've seen personally. And then the Royal Rumble in San Antonio the following January. I think maybe one more SmackDown match a couple of years later, but like the 3 big ones of those, does any one match with John stick out to you?
Oh man, they all stick out. You know, I had on a live event with in Madison Square Garden with John, so that was another banger. And Barclays in New York, and the Royal Rumble. A triple threat match, had Dean Ambrose in it, myself and John. Like, there's so many good matches. I think the one, it's hard to pick between the Rumble and SummerSlam because they were so special. One, SummerSlam was special because it was the first time John and I ever got in the ring together and had a banger of a match. But then we had the Royal Rumble, which a lot of people, you know, it was a great match as well. But
Yeah.
what a lot of people don't know about that match is that we never left the ring. And you don't know it unless I tell you, and you go, holy crap, they never went out, to the floor. And that makes it special to me because we had to do more than just, rely on other obstacles in our way to have a great match. We just had one in the squared circle.
Was that done by design where you guys didn't go to the outside of the ring, or did you notice that after the fact?
Oh, it was kind of done by design because things were going to happen that night outside of the ring. And I don't know if someone asked us, but it was one of those things like, oh, no problem. We'll just do it all in the ring. No problem.
That's amazing. Well, like you said, of those 3 matches, they're all fantastic. And not that third one is forgotten about by any means. I mean, that was the match where John became a 16-time world champion again. I think a lot of people forget about that, but it was you that he beat for that accolade. But if there's any match for people to forget of the 3, it's that one, because that was the one that you lost. That was the one that you lost, and the other 2 you won. Those are the more important ones. Do you credit John in that being not your first feud in WWE, but one of your first big feuds in 2016? It was that match at SummerSlam for a lot of fans, myself included, where when you beat him, and not only beat him, but you beat him clean that night in the middle of the ring at SummerSlam. Again, we're playing that in 2K23 as well. Do you see that as your turning point in WWE when people, whether it be management, fans, whatever, yourself, saw yourself as, all right, this guy is a main event player at this point, prior to even winning the WWE title?
I had a lot of great matches before that. But I was on the pinnacle, about to go over there, where I was about to reach that goal of, oh, he's different. But it wasn't exactly the match. It was right before the match, because I'm about to step in the ring with John Cena on one of our bigger premium live events. So I think that was the moment people realized, okay, this guy's different.
Kind of the flip question for you, Kurt, and being there for the entire career of John in WWE, from again his very first night on the main roster through 2006 as well. When you left, he was still there, rising up in the ranks, facing you, like you said, in 2005. Was there any one point that you saw in John's career, whether when you guys were on the same brand or when he was on Raw, whatever, that for you, you were like, all right, this is John Cena, the main event, made man? Obviously, it could be when he won the world title back at WrestleMania 21. But was there another point for you, whether it be a performance or a promo or whatever it might be, that in your mind you saw John Cena as being on your level and being the elite level in WWE?
Well, I knew John was special the first time I wrestled him, his very first match. You knew he was going to be a huge star. But I would say that John really started growing as a wrestler and improving. But I would tell you that the honest truth is, when he really got over is when he started the rapper gimmick. And that really set everything off. I mean, John got into a flow, he got into a rhythm. Before that, he was prototype, and it wasn't really that catchy. He would wear the same ring gear, like the same color shorts and knee pads and boots, and it didn't really get over that well. But he tried out the rapper gimmick, and that worked incredibly well, and he kept improving in the ring every week. So after a while, he became one of the best workers in the business, and he became one of the most popular characters.
And in working with Cena, obviously, he's learning a lot from you from the first time that he wrestles you and over the course of his career. Was there anything in the many matches that you guys had with each other that you learned something from John?
Well, what I learned from John is his gimmick: never give up. I mean, the kid is ferocious, and you get him in the ring. I will tell you this: there was a time where I tried to get him tired. Okay, that's not what you want to do, but I tried to get him tired in the ring, and I couldn't do it. He's like the only person that I couldn't wear out. He was in incredible shape, had incredible conditioning, and he was also a great in-ring worker. I was really impressed that I couldn't get him tired, exhausted. It was incredible.
What about you, AJ? Obviously, by the time that you wrestle Cena in 2016, it's your quote-unquote rookie year in WWE, but you had already been wrestling for decades. You were already a seasoned vet. Is there anything in the matches with John, working with John behind the scenes in front of the camera, that you learned from him?
You learn pretty quick that John's in charge. So I would like to think that, I knew so much about wrestling, and I couldn't go toe to toe with him in the ring with a microphone. That's just not going to happen. I don't think anybody's capable of doing that. But I thought, okay, I have him in the ring. But he showed me pretty quick that not only is he smart, quick-witted, but he can get after it in the ring. And it's like Kurt said, he doesn't get tired. Yeah. Which is amazing, because he's got a lot of muscle on that body of his, and usually guys who are more muscular takes a lot more oxygen. It didn't affect John.
And in working with him in those matches as well, is there a point even early on, later on in the later matches and whatnot, that you feel like you've earned his respect? Or do you have his respect from the first time you guys worked together? It feels like he already knew who you were, obviously, despite not being on the WWE scene prior to signing. He was posting pictures about you on Instagram. He would be making stuff like that. He was obviously already aware of your work. Did he have your respect, or vice versa, rather? Or was there a point where you had to earn it during your matches and whatnot?
I think once you get into the ring with someone, we find out where we stand. I mean, I think you're going to respect anybody who's had the ability or the opportunity to step inside the ring with you, right? You want to give them that respect. And John had told me specifically that not only did he know me, but he looked up information on me before we ever started getting on the microphone together. So he knew what I was all about, but still, I mean, he was just a special person, man. He's just like, he's the guy you want to get in the ring with. And of course, I got respect for him. He's got respect for me. And that's why we had unbelievable matches.
Did it dawn on you guys, you and Cena, I guess, speaking from what he has told you, that the matches you guys had in that year were really a dream match? We talk about the dream matches you guys had, being the face of TNA at that point for many, many years. Cena obviously being the face of WWE for a decade at that point. Did it dawn on you as much as it did him and everyone else that this really is a dream match, which are far and few between nowadays?
Well, I think that's the reason why the SummerSlam match was so unbelievably awesome. Listen, you can have a banger of a match, but if the crowd's not involved, if
Yeah.
they're not invested in any kind of way, it's not going to be that good. So we had the crowd, and plus we were able to work so well together. I mean, we couldn't go wrong.
And like I said, you're going to be playing this match in the game, the SummerSlam match specifically, again, where you beat John Cena, which is a big victory for you. It's got to be cool for you, obviously, being a gamer and whatnot. You played a lot of the games, you play other non-wrestling games as well, obviously, being a big gamer. Is it cool for you to be in the showcase mode in one of your biggest matches of your career to date?
So I got to be honest with you. I didn't know a lot with what was going on, and I knew John was going to be on the cover of WWE 2K, but I didn't know exactly what was going on. I saw the commercial, and you saw me doing this right here, and I go, "Oh, that's cool." And so I kind of figured out what was going on, and man, I am so stoked to be part of this story that 2K is going to be telling.
So you found out the exact same time the rest of us did. That's pretty cool. It's a pleasant
Yeah,
surprise.
yeah, it's pretty neat, man.
That's pretty sweet. Kurt, talking about, like I mentioned before, your first time back in the 2K series in a couple of years. Is it cool for you? I don't know if you're a big gamer at all or play into the games and stuff like that, but being back in the 2K family and just being able to play as yourself in the game against someone like John Cena.
Yeah, it's an honor and a privilege. I'm really excited to be a part of the game again. I mean, I left it for a few years, and coming back and knowing that John Cena, this thing's all about John Cena, and I'm one of the players that's going to play against John. I'm not much of a gamer, but I know gaming is really popular, and the fans absolutely love it, and it's an honor and a privilege to be a part of it.
You got to be able to pick up a copy with your kids and play with them, right? Maybe they can play as you or
That's
something
the
like
only
that.
time I do it is when I play with my kids. But they love doing it too. They do a lot of the WWE 2K games. They do a lot of other games too as well. I won't mention them, but my kids enjoy gaming. Yeah.
I feel like that might be the only opportunity for them to beat you in any situation as far as the video games. Is that correct?
Yes, yes. And usually they do beat Daddy. They're a lot better than me.
Well, the cool thing with this game is that not only can we revisit rivalries like you guys had with John, but you can make new matches as well. Dream matches. There's so many superstars. I think the biggest roster that 2K has ever had for one of these games, past, present, and future. For you, Kurt, maybe not even knowing who's on the roster, but just kind of thinking out loud. If there's a dream match that you could have in 2K23 that could be made into a reality, whether it be against the star of the past, present, or future, in your mind, who would it be?
You mean any wrestler?
Any wrestler.
Against me?
Against you.
Probably, I would say, well, AJ Styles. I would have loved to have wrestled him again in WWE. Listen, AJ's one of the best guys I've ever wrestled. I have so much respect for him. But I will say that Roman Reigns is on my list. He's one of the guys that I really love to face.
All right. What about you, AJ?
I was going to say the same thing about Kurt, because I don't know if you knew this, but we had some bangers as well.
Oh, we did.
A couple of them, yeah.
So, but there are guys that I wanted to have the opportunity to compete against and never had that opportunity. I was lucky to get the Undertaker in there, but man, Eddie Guerrero, Shawn Michaels, and I know these are matchups that could have happened before, but shoot, man, who else can I get in there with? Can I have a different match? I hadn't even been in a War Games match yet, and yet that's going to be on 2K, so that's freaking cool.
Anything else about the game that you've heard about as far as new features? I'm a big GM mode person myself, personally, so being able to play that sort of stuff. Kurt, you're actually a GM in the game, which is super sick. For the first time since you were Raw GM years ago when SmackDown GM, that's pretty cool. But for you, AJ, any new features that you hear about aside from the War Game stuff that you're excited for?
I'm always excited about new characters. I think the more characters that are in the game, the more fun it is, because you can have so many different matchups and whatnot. And again, War Games for me has always been cool since WCW. So, I don't know how that's going to run, because we're talking about what, 10 people at one point,
yeah,
in the ring at the same time, and 2 different rings, mind you. So there's going to be a lot of action going on. For me, that's probably going to be the best match on the game, and I'm looking forward to the most.
Now, I know Curtis talked about in the past, obviously he retired at WrestleMania 35, the Baron Corbin match. Kurt, I know you've gone on the record in saying if it was your choice, John Cena would have been the man to retire you at WrestleMania, which would have been a great way to cap off your careers. AJ, for you, obviously retirement isn't in the near future for you, but do you feel like it would be fitting, going back to John for a second, to close out your career against John, or even to close out his career against yourself? Maybe not your retirement match, maybe his retirement match. It may not be coming up soon, but I feel like that'd be a great way to at least one more match between you guys at some point, I guess is what I'm trying to say, would be pretty cool.
I think that what Kurt done and probably what I'm going to do, if given the opportunity, is like it's not just a retirement match. It's how can we further someone else's career and their character and whatnot. I'd like to think that we're two very giving with our bodies, our characters, and what we can do for the WWE. So if that's the case, I would love to have wrestled Kurt in his last match. I would love to have had all that opportunity, but it's not up to me sometimes. Sometimes it's up to the story, and you want to do what's best for your company.
And on that same note, any update you can provide and when we might be able to see you back in the ring at some point?
I literally just got talking to a doctor today, and we're working on the best way to get to where I need to be. I don't want to come back at 80% or even 90. I want to come back at 100%, and I want to get after it. That's the only way that I live. It's all or nothing with me. So I'm going to try not to hurt myself and trying to get ready to come back into the ring. So there's a lot of things coming to it. There's not an exact date, but hopefully soon.
Fantastic. Last question for you guys. You mentioned that you've had such an elaborate history over the course of your careers in WWE and in elsewhere. Kurt, on your retirement tour, you did face AJ on Raw or SmackDown that one time. The match didn't last very long. It got interrupted by the dastardly Baron Corbin, or maybe it was Randy Orton. I think they interrupted it because AJ, you were feuding. Yes. It was Randy because you were feuding with him at the time. If that match had a conclusion, Kurt, who would have gone over? Would it have been you or would it have been AJ? What was going to happen there?
It was my retirement tour. I'm going over.
Hey, I was about to say, don't let Kurt tell you anything. He's beating me. That's what's going to happen.
Fantastic. Well, I got to go back and watch those matches from you guys before we head up, catch up with 2K23 coming out on March 17th, as I mentioned. Kurt, AJ, fantastic speaking with you both. Big fan. AJ, we share a birthday, June 2nd, and Kurt, you're just awesome. So I appreciate the time, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, brother.